Thank you, Heidi. Hi, I'm Dr. Doreen Downing, and this is my Facebook group, Find Your Voice and Speak Up. And this is an interview that I'm doing with my friend Heidi Fischbach. And I'd like to introduce her to start with today. We're going to be talking about anxiety, how to calm our nervous system, and I had just a few minutes with her before we started, and I have to say, as soon as you hear her voice, you're going to go into calm. I think she's got a magical way of just being with us that helps soothe our nervous systems. Let me just say something about Heidi. Heidi is a nervous system coach and speaker who helps people transform anxiety and reactivity into authentic connection. She'll be sharing her insights on how to stay calm and grounded, even in the middle of tension and stress. What a great introduction, short, brief, and it just helped me as I was reading it to come into grounded, calm. And it's a little stressful here on our live stream. So Heidi, we're talking about anxiety today. In what I When I get curious about people, I know that what we bring to the world from our life experience, I think, is all about something that happened to you that you learned that you're now, I don't know, responsible, able, passion, passionate about sharing. So tell us first a little bit about how come anxiety and how come this is so important to you to help us calm ourselves in this divided world, as we call it today.
Yes. Yes, I love that question. Thank you so much for asking it. And thank you for having me with your community. I just love meeting new folks, and I'm hopeful to get to meet some new people this way. Um, and there's so much overlap between what you and I are doing too, and like finding your authentic, true voice. And that has everything to do, from my perspective, in how your nervous system is, how regulated it is, or how easily it can re-regulate when you lose it. So anxiety is something I'm very familiar with for a long time. It's not a mistake that I'm doing this work in particular. Um, uh, as a child, in the family that I grew up in and the circumstances I grew up in, I felt anxious pretty much all the time, um, pretty vigilant, often hypervigilant. So I often say that my awareness is pretty high, and it was often in my life, but it was always in a fight flight kind of way
Mm,
and in a not feeling safe kind of way. And I talk about this a little bit more in my class, but it's not that actually I knew that my parents loved me, but because of details I won't get into right now, but they're not a secret. Um, I felt unsafe pretty much all the time, and then there was some added abandonment in my family of origin because of the work my parents were doing and choices they made. And so the way I coped was with an eating disorder.
mm,
It was actually a very adaptive thing that my organism did to help me get through a time when my family was really far away and I was alone, and 11, 12, 13, my whole adolescence. Um, and eating disorder, and then just heightened anxiety. And it all kind of came to a head in a way that I had to do something about it. And I looked for help. And all of the help was in relation to talking about what had happened to me and to working with kind of my rational mind in relation to my trauma responses and to my anxiety. And it wasn't until I was able to turn toward my body and have mentors and teachers who taught me how to listen to my body,
Um,
that I just got chills again. Um, that I was able to start healing those early patterns of anxious response to what my body, what my organism perceived as threatening.
mhm,
And as I've healed, and so much healing has happened, there are so many situations that used to trigger me, that I used to perceive as threatening, that I don't have to perceive as threatening anymore. I
mhm,
don't have to. And that's a big part of how I work with people, is um, that the work we do, the body-based and science backed work, is making change possible. It's not forcing anything. So I don't have to be triggered. I have different choices available to me, and there's much more laughter, and there's much more ease, and there's a lot of connection on the other side of anxiety.
Oh, I love all of that introduction and to the beautiful work that you now do with folks, and that um, the point is that you did experience something. You know what anxiety feels like from the inside out. You tried other methods and you found something, your secret, that now you get to offer. And I know you have a class coming up, and that's partly why I wanted to expose my group to you so that you can talk about this class that you're doing. And it's called what is it called? Three keys. Well, we're talking about unlocking calm, right? Unlock your calm. Unlock. Wow. Three keys to turn anxiety into connection in divided times. And I I want to start there, that you've got this program you've
Yeah.
designed based on experience and learning.
Mhm.
Plus, you obviously had to hire other people, experts, to help you find your way. And now, Heidi, you're an expert, and we get to hire you to to help us come to terms with anxiety, reactivity, the stress patterns we have. So let me just come back to me for a second.
Yeah, good, good.
You and I talked right before we got online, and I noticed I was, whoa, but I had all these little details I had to attend to. So tell me, somebody like me in the middle of a stressful situation, what would be the, I don't know, I hate to say tip or
Go
quick.
ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
might as well go to that first, and then we'll talk more about the program and what you offer. But I just thought uh, I know I was breathing, but what else could I have done?
Yeah. Well, for friends who are watching now and weren't, since you weren't there in the 2 minutes before we went live, Doreen was saying, "Oh, I just, something about the connection between us is really helping." And you said my voice was calming to you, and just noticing that helped you kind of take a deeper breath.
Yes.
And I pointed out, and this comes as a relief to a lot of people, that even when we are stressed out, how nice it is to notice that our body is in a way still taking care of us. We're
Mm,
still breathing. We may not be taking those breaths that are more conducive to calm and to regulation, but our body has our back, and the breathing is still happening. And that moment when you noticed, oh, I'm a little fluttery, or whatever it was this moment of opportunity.
mm,
And what you said about connection being what helped you a lot in that moment is key, because we as mammals, which all humans share the kind of nervous system we have with all mammals. This is fascinating. We get our sense of safety through connection. So when we are in the presence of someone who is regulated and calm, and we can start feeling safer. And then if that person has training and is attuned to, oh, Doreen seems like she's a little bit anxious here, then I might, if you're wanting it, invite you to take one of those deep exhales, just a regular inhale and then just slow and long on the exhale. Yeah.
Wow, your voice slow and long. That's beautifully the lyricism of it. It's like music, listening to something that is really beautiful, and I feel the beauty of somebody really there with me,
Yes.
helping, kind of like, there's like a little kid, and then there's this, oh, there's an
Yes.
embrace with your words and your tone and the guidance that you provide. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. And interesting too, just to point out that you felt that.
yeah,
You felt the regulation. Like
yeah.
we didn't have to like analyze it and rationally even talk through it, even though I just offered this long exhale tip. But earlier, and throughout, you are feeling like, oh, it's okay. I'm safe here. It's
Mhm,
okay to relax. It's okay to be myself. Of
mhm.
course, there's all these other things, and which you probably also teach, and which I teach, that can help people then be able to really have a strong foundation in that safety and regulation, so that in those moments when we need to get dysregulated, like if your house is on fire and you wake up in the middle of the night and you smell smoke, I really hope that you're dysregulated, Dr. Downing. I hope that you will, get out of the house.
Yeah,
And that's because your nervous system is just wonderful. Like even dysregulation, like I'm super thankful when my body gives me cues of, oh, let's just check in. Is everything okay here? That's a really, really smart thing for it to do.
I'm
But the
so
problem,
glad you said that because
yeah,
it makes the times I do get nervous, especially because my work is around people having anxiety about speaking in public, right? That's okay. We don't just try and say that's not real, I shouldn't be, because that's part of the problem. Their brain is saying, why should I be so anxious? Doesn't matter about the why. Your body just is. And that's what we need to focus on. Thank you.
yeah, you said it. You said it so well. Yeah, exactly, exactly that. There is, our nervous system is supposed to, if we're an animal in the wild and we're a gazelle, say, and there's a lion, we can see a lion coming closer. We are going to be on alert. We are not going to be calm. So calm 100% of the time probably equals not surviving.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
when we can't be calm as we need to, and we can't be energized as we need to, then we're not able to really live like a joyous and connected life.
Beautiful. And I assume that you go into more deeply in the program because this dysregulation sometimes is a misreading of the situation, right? And so
Yes.
that comes from patterns early on for survival. And like you said, everything if it's the jungle analogy you just use, everything begins to feel like you're going to be pounced on. And
Yes.
in fact, I had a client who used that very phrase, pounced on. And when
Wow.
we did the deeper look at trauma, she had gone through a um, early childhood neighborhood where she was pounced on, literally pounced on by a vicious dog. And I know that was traumatic for her to have to repeatedly go through that neighborhood having been injured. So so let's move now to the program itself and to give us some idea about what you'll be doing. And it's a free masterclass, right? Coming
Yeah.
in a
Yes.
few
Yes.
days this week.
Yes, this week on Thursday, I'm offering it at 2. I'm offering it on a weekday in the evening, depending on where you are, evening Eastern time, mid-afternoon Pacific time, and then on Sunday again on the weekend at 2 Eastern, and 11 a.m. Pacific. And it's Unlock Your Calm, 3 keys to turn anxiety into connection in divided times. So this is content that is just so dear to my heart, and just alluding back to why I do this work, why I have such a stake in it personally, um, is that the nervous system lens for mental health, for physical health, for all of what goes on in these creature bodies that we have, brings everything together, and it takes the shame out of our anxiety, even, for example. And it allows things to be able to shift in ways that thinking it through and looking at it just cognitively sometimes does not allow for. So in this free masterclass, I am going to be teaching a new lens through which to see ourselves and the world and others in these divided times. Um, a new way of being with ourselves and others, and then experience, a new experience of ourselves. Like I always say when people are coming to me for the first time and they're like, I've been at this for sometimes decades. Sometimes I have clients across several decades of in age,
Yeah.
and I've tried a lot of things, and I'm not really sure that this can help me. And I love to say this. I love to say this so much. You don't have to believe that this is possible. And of course, I have people's experience that it has changed for
Mhm.
to be able to share, but I don't require belief in yourself to be in place for you to be able to take that first step and
Oh,
to commit to yourself in
mhm.
a program that is going to fundamentally be able to change your perspective and what's possible. And in the masterclass, that free masterclass, we touch on that a little bit. And as people begin to experience themselves differently, maybe even in the same situations they used to feel triggered in,
Mhm.
your experience of yourself, I think, is 100% more valuable than a belief that
Oh,
you can do something, which is, I know it sounds kind of almost sacrilegious, because we often hear you have to believe in yourself, you have to believe in yourself. But I think that especially when we've really been ravaged by anxiety and insecurity
mhm.
and trauma,
Yeah,
that it makes sense that we don't yet have experience of ourselves being able to
yeah.
be our connected, confident selves.
Oh,
So,
great explanation.
yeah.
And that's so true. I know that I do have people who say, I can't believe that this could be possible for me. And actually that you're transforming me in this very moment with this new belief
Yeah,
that you don't need to, no wonder you don't believe it because of
of
the
course.
ongoing life experience. And you have to be able to honor that in somebody and not say, well, you have to believe first, and then we could start the work together.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that profound new approach to working with people who um, are are not able to yet believe. And I love
Yes.
the message. Well, it's okay. You don't have to. And that to me is also calming.
Yeah.
And it's also the word you used in the beginning, connection. You're connecting with what's wrong with connecting to the disbelief?
Absolutely. Your your reflections back and what you're saying is giving me chills. So I know you're on the right track there. Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
we're almost out of time, so I want to make sure and um, give you the opportunity to share more if you want today around something practical, maybe. I mean, you did talk
Mm.
about the slow breath,
Exhale.
exhale.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
I
So
I would say that coming to your master class is what I want people to be doing. However, it's also good to be getting just a little bit more of Heidi.
Yeah, and immediate. Give me something right now, right? I love
Yeah.
I'm all about immediate gratification when it's a good thing. So yes, absolutely. And we call that slow exhale a straw breath because when you're letting it out, it's like you're blowing through a straw. Actually, I have a straw right here because and some of my clients think of it as a magic wand, but
Uh-huh.
and you don't have to have a straw because just taking a regular inhale and then exhaling really through a small opening as long as you can help you calm from a state of agitated anxiety, like fight or flight. Now, if you're more in the place of shutting down, which comes sometimes after we're anxious, if the overwhelm is too much, sometimes we go into shutdown mode, which is another nervous system response. And then we might want to like focus on having our breath, our inhale, and then holding it, and then exhaling and holding it. And we call this box breath because we want to like almost make, you want to do one with me?
Certainly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
Yeah,
Is that the,
totally, totally. You got it.
let's do it.
Got it. So like inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4.
Mhm.
And then with any of these little things that we do, these body-based things that we do, we always want to take a beat and notice, did anything shift?
Ah,
And
yeah.
we want to notice, and this is so fundamental that not just to be aware, but to have friendliness in your awareness.
Ah,
So, and that's something again, similar to not having to believe in yourself.
mhm,
You don't even have to feel that friendly
mhm.
because sometimes when we come to this work, we can feel pretty cynical and sarcastic. I speak for some of, when we've had a difficult past and like, what do you mean you're telling me how to breathe? Like, come on. Like this is
Right.
really,
Yeah.
so there's room for all those ways that you have typically reacted and to start practicing and cultivating a friendliness and a curiosity toward yourself. And just to, after doing the box breath or the straw breath, be able to say, did anything shift?
Curiosity.
Curiosity. And I know you talk about that too.
Yeah.
Curiosity. And then to celebrate it, like even like, good job, Doreen.
Oh,
Good job,
I
Heidi.
that's wonderful. I hope I get to get your permission to use celebrate because mine is curiosity, compassion, and courage. But I like celebrate. That's another C. So
Go ahead. Go ahead. It's yours. I didn't make it up. I didn't make up the word. It's yours. I sometimes have a corny,
uh-huh.
I
Yes.
love having physical things to use because we
Yeah.
can be so in our heads. But yeah, celebrate
Uh-huh.
yourself or give yourself,
Uh-huh.
that recognition. I'm so proud of you for taking a breath. Yeah. For
Oh,
caring about yourself enough to show up at a workshop about unlocking calm, say. Yeah.
yeah. Carrying another C.
Yeah.
Well, this is hopefully for those who are here today. I didn't look at any of the comments yet, but we can post our interview and see if we can answer. We're available. We'll
Yes.
look at if anybody came in and has comments or questions, we'll certainly get back to you. And
Yes.
speaking of celebrate, Heidi, um, I'm just really touched by you. And
Mm,
your one of the things that I know about speaking is that people who magnetize, they're usually the quieter types that are less, you know, um, dynamic, let's put it that way, are have a way of being in this world that changes from a deeper level rather than the
mm,
pushing, it's the allowing and just supporting. And I feel that's who you are. And I
Mm.
so love you for it. And so glad
Oh,
I get to share you with my community.
yes, yes. And I think also just to make it easy for anyone, like Doreen said, we'll both be popping in to answer any questions, keeping an eye on comments, but also putting a link to register. And if you sign up for my masterclass, which I hope you do if you're watching, please tell me that Dr. Downing sent you. I would love to have that connection and to know that you're one of her people that is coming to the masterclass. So I hope to get to meet you really soon. And thank you so much, Doreen, for this invitation.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you
Mm.
so much.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye. We are still here, it looks like. Is that true? And there it is. End live video.